Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to put together a bridal bouquet. It's going to be a little different than anything I've done before. Actually this bride wanted some pampas grass plumes and she wanted them to be bleached, so it's going to be a little different. I'm going to start out by prepping my roses. So these are beautiful Mondale roses, so they open up really nice. I'm going to go ahead and remove any of the petals that have bumps or bruises. The one thing about white that is not so great is the white petals, they get bumps and bruises pretty easily, and so probably not any easier than any of the other roses. It's the fact that they show their bumps and bruises. So go ahead and peel back any of the petals that don't look pretty. Just pull those off. It is not hurting your rose. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wire these roses. I don't always wire my roses, but with this, I may need to manipulate their heads just a little bit. So I'm going to take just about 1/3 of a piece of florist wire. I like 21 gauge. I'm trying to think, making sure. I like 21 gauge to wire roses and to wire things, to tie bows and those kind of things. I'm going to take that rose and I'm pushing it into the calyx. Now the calyx is the small swollen part right up underneath the head of the rose. I'm just pressing that right in, and I'm going to twist that wire right around that stem, just like that. I have already prepped all of the other roses, so we are going to start out. Now, a lot of times you have seen me take an armature. I like to use an armature a lot, but I have taken an armature so that I can just feed my roses into the armature. Now with this bouquet, her goal is not to make it really big. It's really a compact bouquet. And what we're going to use for this bouquet are white roses. I'm going to use this small variety of pampas, which is, I've never seen this before. I actually ordered it off of Amazon because she wanted a bleached pampas. And then I have got some, this is preserved eucalyptus. Now the reason I chose preserved is because that's what the picture looks like that she provided me. So that's what we're going to use. And this is a silver dollar eucalyptus. This is a willow, almost a willow seeded. It's a seeded eucalyptus with a willow look. I'm not exactly sure the exact variety. And I'm just taking the little ties off of them. And then I have some spiral eucalyptus also. I'm going to start out by gathering my roses in my hand. So I'm just going to I have my center rose right there between my thumb and my forefinger, and I am just going to very carefully just arrange those roses right in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and pull off some of this greenery. I wasn't sure whether I would want to leave the greenery on the rose or take it off, but I feel like taking it off is probably better. So I'm just pulling that off as I go. Again, I have never made a bouquet like this before, but I am just kind of following a picture. So I'm just gathering those roses just right in my hand. And you can kind of see how I've just gone around in a circle. And if you'll go ahead and just pull that greenery right off those roses. All right, so I have my roses just kind of gathered in my hand. I'm going to loosen them up just a little bit and kind of move them around. I don't want any too deep. So there's our roses, our white roses. I'm going to pull up my picture really quickly just so that I can kind of see what it looks like. So it's almost made in a one-sided arrangement. So it's almost made like it's flat on the back side. So she'll hold it kind of similar to this. Now I'm going to take my pampas grass plumes, and I am just going to work those right down into. So you can see how I've got it flat on this side and it's arranged on that side. I'm going to take my plumes. Now let me show you how these plumes came. So they came almost like, it almost reminds me of a bunny's tail, which is it's a type of grass pod. So I just kind of took my hand and I just kind of opened that up. I just wanted it to look a little more flared like this one. So I'm just going to take these plumes and I am going to tuck them amongst my roses. And how I got these to flare a little bit was we just took some clear polyurethane and I sprayed them almost like a hairspray and kind of made it wild looking. And so I'm just kind of gathering them into this bouquet, and I'm just tucking them here and there. And I'm just working them right down into. Now I realize that this is probably not everybody's style, and you know what? That's completely okay. It almost looks like feathers, doesn't it? The wonderful part about floral design is it doesn't necessarily have to be your style to be able to have fun with it and design. Okay, so I have my plumes kind of tucked in. Next we're going to come in with our eucalyptus. So I'm just going to take this preserved eucalyptus and I am just going to work it kind of right into my bouquet. I'm stripping off a few of the bottom leaves and I'm tucking them. I'm just using the small holes that are between the roses and tucking that greenery right in. Oh, I missed a rose. Let's tuck him over here. And so I'm holding it loosely enough in my hand that I'm able to kind of work the eucalyptus right down into that bouquet. Next, let's come in with a little bit of this seeded foliage. I'm just kind of stripping those bottom leaves. And I'm just stripping that. And I'm just tucking it right down into those roses. Take your time, kind of work with it. You can kind of see how that eucalyptus kind of moves in there. Now I know, to me, it's so funny that a bouquet gives people anxiety. And I find a bouquet is perhaps the easiest arrangement to make in a wedding. But I guess it's because it's such personal flowers. It makes people a little nervous to work with a bouquet. But to me, a bouquet seems so easy. But I will say I've done it for many years, so maybe that has a lot to do with it. I'm gonna cut. It's got a little, there we go. A little knob down at the bottom that I was afraid that there we go. Just working it right down in there. So there is our greenery and our pampas. Here's one more stem of that silver dollar eucalyptus. Here. And then let's use a little bit of this spiral euc. working it down right into my hand. And you can just strip it off. Any of the leaves that fall below where you want to tie it, just strip those off. All right, so there is my bouquet. Now this bouquet will be held kind of low in her arms. Now it's very important that when you deliver a bouquet to a bride, you discuss how to hold that bouquet. And if you are the bride, let me tell you how to hold your bouquet. It makes all of the difference in the world. In your pictures, I want you to hold it down low. Hold it right at your waist. Hold it right at your belly button. You're going to hold that bouquet down low. And that way, most of the time when you're nervous, you're going to want to hold that bouquet high. You're going to grab that gentleman's arm and you're going to hold that bouquet really high. I want you to think about it. Think about holding that bouquet right at your belly button. You'll be so much happier with your pictures if you do that. So next what I'm going to do is I'm taking, this is called waterproof tape, and I am taking it and I am going to tape my stems together. Okay, I'm just holding that tape on those stems and I'm just coming around and around with that tape. Okay, just tape those stems together. And I'm actually probably going to do that twice because I want to make sure it stays together. Okay, so there is my bouquet. What you're going to do to finish off this bouquet is you're going to take a little bit of ribbon. This is actually a double-faced satin ribbon. What that means is that it's pretty on both sides. It's pretty on both sides. I'm going to take it and I am going to lay it right on top of that tape. And I am going to hold it tight and I'm going to wrap those stems with that ribbon. I am really just covering up the mechanics. I want to cover up that tape. I'm going to take it, I folded that ribbon over so it has a pretty finish. And then I'm going to take a corsage pin. And a corsage pin is just a pearl-headed pin. Just looks like a little pearl. And then I'm going to pin that ribbon right into place. And I always like to take that pin and push it up toward the heads of the flowers so that just in case it won't bite the bride. You don't want that pin to poke anybody. But there you go. I'm going to cut off the stems. I'm going to drop this bouquet into water. And then this bouquet will be fresh and ready to carry down the aisle on Saturday. Guys, if you have any questions about how we do things here at the Flower Shop, please don't hesitate to ask that down below in the comments. We are so happy to answer your questions. If you like videos like this, we go live every single day over on Facebook. Check us out. We do different things about what we do here in the Flower Shop. Please check us out there. I hope you have a wonderful day and we will see you all real soon. Thanks, guys.